Hi everyone. It's Friday, time for the calm in the center of the storm. And I am Marcia Grace, your Calm Creativity Connector. And I am excited to be here today because I have so much to share with you, and I want to get it all in, but hopefully we don't go too long. But I'm here because I want to assure you that there is a way to view your feelings and your thoughts and your experiences differently so that you can discover how the solutions that you need to get you through tough times like we're having now. If you have a business that's closed, if you had to fire employees, or if you got fired from your job, or are on hold and don't know when you're going back. I mean, there's just so much going on now that is beyond belief. It really is. I keep saying, I feel like we're living in the Twilight Zone. So, which was an old show on TV, so that I'm dating myself tremendously. But I'm obviously no kid, so that's no surprise. Lots of wisdom and experience have come with those years, so I'm grateful for them. So what I'm hoping to help you learn to do and to want to do is to shift your thinking from the exterior, what's going on out there, to the interior, what's going on in here. So you can get in touch with your own thoughts and feelings and do something with them. Because until you do something with them, you're the victim of them. And that's what you don't want to be. So my expertise is in teaching what I like to call meditative contemplation, to differentiate it from what most people think of meditation as, because it's not the same. Because now, more than ever, we have the opportunity, as many of us are sitting in our homes. If you're working from home or whatever, that's great. I'm glad that you still have a job. But if you aren't and you're sitting around, here's an opportunity to do something meaningful and positive and life-changing for yourself by developing a morning program, a morning ritual to get you to a place where you can feel confident and strong and ready to go out and meet the day, whatever it has to offer you. So that's what I really, I'm so grateful for, that I have that ability, that I know how to do this, and that it's changed my life. So so that's why I want to share it. So okay, today we're talking about bouncing back. Now, we're getting reports that states are starting to open up. Certain states are, certain areas are. Long Island, where I am, is not quite ready yet. But things are improving, fewer hospitalizations, fewer deaths, thank God. So definitely we're on a down shaft right now. And certainly we hope that will stay that way, although there's no knowing, right? Because we just don't know. However, we do need to think about, and this is another way of perceiving how you are in your life, is how well you can bounce back from what have I got in my eye? I've got something in my eye here. To bounce back from, all the stress, the anxiety, the frustrations that we're experiencing. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because this is really, hi Christy. This is really such an important thing for you to know for yourself. So, for instance, when we talk about resilience or bouncing back, one of the first people I think about is Oprah. If you've ever heard her story, she grew up in Wisconsin and was repeatedly molested by several family members for years, until she finally ran away at the age of 14. But she was pregnant and she gave birth to a child who then died. So, I mean, wow. How do you overcome stuff like that? I mean, that is mind-boggling to me. And then when she did get back, she was brilliant, obviously, and she won. In high school, she won a contest, which gave her a full scholarship to college. So she got her college degree, and then she got a job because she was always interested in TV and stuff like that. And so, but she was fired from her first, publicly fired from her first TV job as an anchor. Now that had to be terribly embarrassing, right? And, not fun at all. And yet, look where she is today. So she's one incredible example. And there are, of course, many, many, many others. I always think of Helen Keller, who was born with insurmountable odds and yet went on to be one of the most well-known people in the world, or at least in this country. I mean, remarkable. What else can I say? All right, so there is this thing called resilience, right? And it's the ability to avoid buckling under the pressures that we experience in crisis times like this. We can overcome adverse situations. We go on to, do the next thing the next day. You rebound from devastating loss. I mean, people are losing loved ones. That's tough. That is really, it's overcoming these things is not easy. And being able to get back quickly after a loss, this is resilience. And yet, this, when you're going through this, even though you may be emotionally drained and physically just, what's the word? You just laid out. Basically that you're going to get through it. So there's a presence there, a state of, this will pass. So what I want to say is that when we think about resilience, now you may think that you are resilient, and maybe you are. I hope so. But then you can just leave. You don't have to listen to the rest of this. But wait a minute, before you run, let me just say that there was a study done at a university not too long ago, and they found that a whopping 80% of Americans who were surveyed felt they excelled at resilience. They thought they were very resilient, but when they took the survey, it was really only about 57% who were. So obviously a lot of us think we're more resilient than we really are. And there's probably a good reason for that, which we'll discuss in a second. All right, but let's talk about what's it like? How do we feel when we're lacking resilience? These are some key things to think about. Do these things apply to you? Are you finding it difficult to recover from a setback in a timely manner? I mean, are you dragging along, for days and weeks and what have you without a sign of any kind of lifting of your mood? So check that one out. Is your response time to the obstacles in your life very slow? Are you not able to really get with it and do something about something, which really just makes your troubles fester and multiply? That's what happens when you don't take care of a problem when it's tiny, right? When it's tiny, you take care of it, it's done. But if you leave it go, it just blossoms, right? So notice that. And, your self-confidence suffers when you see problems rather than solutions. It's a mind game, right? So in other words, something comes up. How do you view it? Do you see it as, oh no, oh my God, this is awful? Or do you say, oh, okay, here's a situation I have to deal with. Okay, so you're coming at it from a different perspective. And when you come at it from that, oh no, woe is me, I'm a victim, I feel, this is terrible, that negativity, of course, can make you just give up. You just, say, oh, later, I can't deal with it now, I'll get to it some other time, and then you don't fulfill your goals. So again, think about yourself in these capacities. And how about this one? This is a big one. Starting to eat or drink too much, right? Eating and drinking too much. Oh boy, yeah, are self-comforting in a very negative way. Oh, hi, Margaret. I bet you can agree with that. So watch yourself. Are you having 3 glasses of wine at night, or 4 beers, or whatever it is? Are you, are you eating those chips continuously? Those are things to notice because these are signs that you are not being resilient. Okay? Again, this is one of the reasons why I said before, we may think we're resilient, but we're using these negative coping mechanisms and thinking that's helping us. Yeah, so, and what makes one person capable of confronting adversity and being able to plow through it as opposed to the other person who just gives up, right? Well, we don't know what really makes that. Yeah, of course, intelligence helps. Passion, faith is very, very important. and the ability to dig inside and find the answers. Of course, that's the last thing I'll tell you because that's the one I think is most important of all. Because we all have that strong inner core if we allow it, if we acknowledge it. So, and an interesting thing, a survey I'm reading here from my notes, a survey conducted by the Gerontologist in 2016, magazine, I guess, a literary paper, found that people who had higher levels of resilience experienced fewer health issues as they aged. So we really want to be aware of how resilient we are. So here are some thoughts of a resilient person. So again, here, weigh and measure yourself against some of these things, okay? Resilient people do not see themselves as the victim of circumstances, okay? They're not victims. They learn from their experiences, and that builds their self-confidence, which takes them to the next problem where they're able to deal with the situation. Resilient people let the past go and move forward, okay? Don't wallow in the past. No, you don't want to do that. Resilient people remember that they have talents and strengths and put them into practice. So think about it. What strengths, what talents do you have that you can utilize right now? You discover that your actions, not your problems, define you, your actions, right? You can have all the best intentions in the world to do things. If you don't do them, nothing happens, nothing changes, and you're fooling yourself. So there's no benefit to that. Look at adversity. The resilient person looks at adversity as an opportunity to learn and grow. So, okay, so I made a mistake, right? I goofed, or I didn't do what I should have done, or whatever. All right, what can I do about that? And we pick ourselves up and keep going. And as a result of doing all those things, the resilient person develops a mental and emotional callus, an emotional callus to protect you from all the negativity and stuff that comes floating at you. So, and I wanted to read, I came across this in the paper yesterday, I guess it was, of how, again, talking about resilience, and just in our everyday world, what people are doing. And I love this story because it comes from a couple in Babylon on the South Shore of Long Island. And this couple was supposed to get married on May 1st. And they had to cancel, when this whole thing started, they realized they had to cancel their wedding, and so they did. And instead, what they decided to do, this is Sarah Pagano and Brian Fenley, both 34 of Babylon, spent their day driving around collecting cans of food and checks as part of the Future Fenley's food drive. So they started up a food drive and went around, and that's what they did to celebrate their decision to push their wedding date forward. And so, and Sarah said, "I am overwhelmed by the love and generosity of the people I've chosen to surround myself with." Now, isn't that a telling thing, right? The people we surround ourselves with. That's another little hint there. What kind of people are around you? What are they saying to you? What are you saying to them? Again, pay attention to that. All right, let's see. Where was I? All right, so let's talk about some tips, because I always like to give you really practical things to do that can help you to nurture and encourage your resilience. All right, so here's the first one. Appreciate life's little blessings, the little things. I mean, yeah, sure, we're grateful when the check is in the mail, and when we, have a new baby, or we get a new job, or whatever good thing happens, right? Then we tend to feel happy and grateful. But how about all the little things that happen all throughout your day? You got up, the sun was shining. Thank you. That's wonderful. I hear the birds singing. You go out for a walk, and you just see the beauty of nature. These are things to be grateful for. And when you're focusing on gratitude, guess what you're not focusing on? Right? Okay. So there you go. That switching the negative to the positive. But be careful now. Be careful. Here's my caveat, is that excessive optimism can hide issues that you need to address. So if you're going around saying, oh, everything's fine, everything's wonderful, it's great, and meanwhile your roof is falling in, or something something is definitely not good that you're ignoring, that's not a good thing either. So we need a balance there. And I'm very much a Socratic person. I believe we need to find balance. You don't want to go from one extreme to the other. You want to find that balance so that you can be realistic, but at the same time optimistic, right? So there's that. And find the meaning in your difficulty. There's meaning there. There's something you can learn. There's a teaching experience there that's available to you. And one good example of that, and I talk about this guy all the time, is Viktor Frankl, who wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. He was a Nazi concentration camp resident for quite a while. He's actually a psychologist too, and when he came out, he wrote this book. And he said, we must never forget that we may also find meaning in life even when confronted with a hopeless situation, when facing a fate that cannot be changed. Even then, he says, even then, we can find meaning. So, and what that meaning is going to be different for everyone. So I certainly can't tell you what the meaning you should find in something is, but that's up to you. And that's your choice. That's what we can choose to do by simply saying yes to that, by being open, by being available. Another one, develop a sense of humor. And that took me a long time to get to. I wasn't a very humorous person when I was a kid. I can tell you that. I was very serious. And but over the years, I've learned to lighten up, and it's really helped me a lot, to be able to laugh at myself mostly, to laugh at the stupid things that I do or don't do, and be able to find the humor in the situation. I have several friends who just make me laugh. They make me laugh so much, and I love them for that because, again, they know the secret of having a good sense of humor. It really helps you get through situations. So it helps to relieve the stress, the pressure, when you can laugh about something. So so that, of course, is a very, very helpful thing. And if you're not laughing enough, then think about that and find a way to laugh. There was a book many years ago, what was this called? Laughing My Way Back to Health, or something like that. And it was written by a fellow who was given up for dead. He couldn't move. He was sick, and he couldn't get out of bed. And the doctors just gave up. They didn't know what was wrong with him. And so he decided he was going to have to take his health back into his own hands. And he was sitting in the hospital, and he asked them to bring him a television, or I don't know how they brought it in, but anyway, to bring in funny movies. So he watched funny movies and began little by little, as he began to laugh and find humor and his focus was on laughter and fun and positivity and lightness. He got better and consequently was able to write his book. So, something to deeply consider. All right, so Dolly Parton too has a wonderful story of. I mean, I didn't know her story. I just read it when I was doing my research for this yesterday, and she really started out very in a tremendously poor circumstances. I don't think she had running water or electricity in her house, and she had like all kinds of brothers and sisters, and it was really a tough upbringing. But she made a statement. She says, "I never tried quitting, and I never quit trying." Sounds like a Dolly Parton saying, right? So maybe you like that one. All right, so what should I do now? I want to do our little meditation. If you want to hang around for that, maybe I'll wait for the end for that, because I just want to say one thing. Now that I've given you these various tips and understandings of what resilience is and what it isn't, and if you have it and if you haven't, you might want to test yourself a little bit. And the way you can do that is to take this little challenge. And that is choose just one situation that you're facing now that's wearing you down, that's really got you, befuddled and aggravated. Just take that one thing, not more than one, and then make a decision that you are going to bounce back from this bump in the road, whatever it is for you, that you are going to be able to handle this. Just make that decision. You have to be very clear about your willingness to make a decision for finding an answer to your problem. All right, and then this is the big one. Now you have to take the first step. You have to take one step, whatever that will be. I don't know, but you'll find that if you go within. What's that one step that you can take right now? I don't want you got to do this today. Do this while we're thinking about it right away, because if you put it off, you're not going to do it. So one small step, just one tiny little thing. Maybe it's making a phone call. Maybe it's writing something down. Maybe, I don't know what it is. But whatever it is, make that first step, okay? And then once you do that, I want you to do this too. This is really important also, which is to notice how you feel when you've done it. How do you feel? What happens when you suddenly take that one small step to accomplish your purpose? Just notice it, okay? And then repeat the process, okay? So that's your challenge, and if you want to let me know how it went, I would love to hear it, so please. My email is mg@marshagrace.com, and you can send me an email or reply on my Facebook page, whatever you want to do. That would be great. And by the way, if you're looking for a couple of good authors to read, because a lot of us are sitting around saying, what can I do with myself? Well, you can do some reading. And two authors who are excellent on this issue of resilience and bouncing back and all of that are Brene Brown, Brene Brown, and Scott Symington, Symington. So those are two wonderful authors who have wonderful things to say about resilience. Okay, so, all right, that was a lot to talk about, and but now, if you want to hang around with me, you're free to go. I release you to the world to go out and do wonderful things, but if you want to hang around with me for a minute or two and do a little meditation, just to calm down, bring ourselves into the center, please stay with me. I'm going to light the candle. And there we go. So if you like to look at the candle while we're doing this, be my guest. If you prefer to stick it here, how's that? Is that good? Where is it? Yeah, there it is. Okay. If you prefer to close your eyes, well, of course, do that. And so the first thing we're going to do, as we always do, is just some breathing. Just breathing is just so wonderful to get us centered, bring us right into this moment. So let's do this. Let's do this very simple breath, which is just, first we'll blow out all the stale dead air, and then you're going to breathe in, and to the count of, let's do 5, and then you're going to hold it, for 5, and then you're going to release it for 5. And then we'll begin again. We'll do that 3 times, just very slowly, very methodically. I'll count for you so you can keep, you won't have to keep track. And just notice that try to breathe through your nose, and notice your body. Before we begin, just notice your body and how it's feeling. And as you exhale, you may want to just send relaxation to your body. Well, we're going to do that, all right? So, okay, so I want you to be counting to 5, hold, and then release. All right, so let's exhale. Just get it all out and begin breathing. 2, 3, 4. Letting go of the cold, drafty places in your mind and holding. And now release and bring in the warmth and the sunshine into your thinking. Let it go. And now breathing in, letting go of judgments, doubts, and fears, and holding, and releasing while you're welcoming cooperation, trust, and respect. And again, breathing in as you let go of pain and disappointment, holding, and then bringing in a feeling of gratitude and happiness. Let it all out. Okay. All right. So, I hope you enjoyed our time together. And if you were late, I know we're all on crazy schedules. Please come back and check out the video again. And by all means, like it, share it. If this was valuable to you, think how valuable it can be to other people. So please share it with other people. And always remember, as I always say, oh, and don't forget, of course, in the box there you see the link to my guided meditation. There's a free guided meditation there if you'd like to listen to that. Please go there. And just remember, everything begins with a thought. So keep your thoughts light. Until next week, have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.